Good afternoon, everyone. Mary Sloan here with another episode of Inspirational Influencer. Oh my gosh, my brain went numb. News. It is the news. I mean, where do you find inspirational influencers? We should be in the news all the time. So today we are. This is secrets of people making money and making a difference. And that is what we would wish for all of you. My guest this afternoon is certainly someone who fits that bill. Gloria Grace Rand is a best-selling author, a speaker, an energy healer, and founder of the Love Method, LOVE, which she has trademarked. I think that's very wonderful. Overcoming a family history of substance abuse and depression through the grace of God, Gloria channels messages from the heart to awaken her clients to their divine identity so that they can live fully, love deeply, and engage authentically. Well, you've got my full attention. So how do we do that?
Well,
Wow.
let me share with you. Well, it is through the love method that you mentioned, and this was something that came to me one morning when I was meditating, and it was the idea popped into my head that said I should write a book about love, and I was like, okay, that's interesting, but what am I going to say about love? And love turned out to be an acronym. So how we do this is the L stands for let go and let God. The O is open your heart to receive. The V is value your uniqueness. And the E is embrace your divinity. And so all of those things are, it sounds kind of simple in a way, but it requires a bit of ongoing practice, and I am always ongoing in my practice of it. And boy, now my brain is going, I think there's something in the air this week.
For sure there is. And it's not all love.
I know, my goodness. Anyway, so it's something that we need to continue to work on. And so just to maybe elaborate a little bit, the let go and let God, which is not exactly a new concept. I'm sure, if you're watching this, you've probably heard that expression before. So for me, it means a lot of different things. It's about letting go of a lot of limiting beliefs that we have, these beliefs that we sort of picked up when we were kids, possibly that we weren't worthy or that we're not good enough in some respects. And to really I use the word God, but use whatever term is good for you, whether that's the universe or source, whatever it is. But I believe there's something that's out there, there's bigger than us that created all of us. And so to be able to then put your faith in that higher power to be able to take care of you, essentially, and to really trust that the universe has your back. And I wind up using interchangeably, like the universe and God a lot of times, but really not being too attached to the outcome of things and recognizing that you can have all the best laid plans in the world, but sometimes things happen and you have to make adjustments. And so being able to trust that things will work out, maybe not the way you originally planned, but it could work out even better than what you had originally planned, as long as you do keep going,
Wasn't it always said that, if you want to give God a good laugh, tell him your plans?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We plan and plan and plan. And somehow or other, it really, it's sort of like coming to this show. Every day there's a show, I have to come and I have a plan for how it's going to go. Stumbling over a word wasn't in my plan. But, you have to make the best of what occurs. And there we have the advantage of, you know, knowing that there's somebody who has our back, something that has our back, an energy, a force, let the force be with you. Whatever works, I don't think the words are that important as just the understanding that there's more than you working on this problem. I know when I'm stumbling around going, oh, now what? It's very comforting to know that I'm not the only one who's having a look at this.
Oh yeah, definitely. And that is so important to know that we're not alone, and everybody has some sort of something that's going on in their life. And we used to find it surprising sometimes that, or you'd hear people say that, oh, my family is so dysfunctional. You know what? I think every family is dysfunctional in some way of some sort. Maybe there's certain degrees. Some people have it more than others, and some people are blessed to had maybe a fairly decent childhood. And yet there was probably still something that may have happened to you in grade school or something. There's some type of issue that has come up, and that's what unites us all, I think, in the fact that we have all had something or other go wrong in our life or some type of thing. And then we can find comfort in that we're still here and that we can still keep going, and we can know, as you said, that we've got something behind us that is keeping us moving forward. And it also still requires making a choice and deciding that, yes, I'm going to not let whatever it is derail me, like you did at the beginning. You didn't let that stop you. You could have just stopped the recording and said, oh, we're just going to come back and do this another time. But no, you powered through, and that's what we got to do in life.
Well, if we can power through and make mistakes, which we all do, it gives other people permission. And I think that's really important, because I think part of the reason we are challenged is that somehow or other we have it in our minds that we shouldn't make mistakes. I mean, I know that when I was going through school, oh my gosh, not making a mistake, oh no, that's not possible. No, you don't make mistakes. That's not okay. And so you pick that kind of nonsense up early, and yet really it disempowers us, and I have taken to considering Thomas Edison and the light bulb,
Mhm.
and the many, 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 many tries. And he said, I didn't have any failings. I just had to go through a lot of ways that it didn't work to find the one that did. And, that's really kind of our strength as human beings. And if we could all just lean into that and go, you learn by making mistakes,
Yeah.
Unfortunately, none of us was given all the answers. What a kind of dull world that would be.
That's true. Yeah. And we have, and at the same time, we do have access to the answers. There's a lot of times it just requires spending some time in quiet, going within, seeking our own guidance. And sometimes that guidance requires us to actually then go without and ask for help and seek other people's advice, because that is then the way that we learn, and it is the way that we get ideas, and we can get support. And that's what that the O in love, open your heart to receive. A lot of that is about, it's opening your heart to receive ultimately love, which comes in the form of help, perhaps from somebody else. Or sometimes it's as simple as, well, not simple, but it's also about opening your heart to receive money. If you're in business and you're not doing well in business, it might be because, again, you have some limiting beliefs about money that you need to let go of. And then it's about being able to accept accept compliments from people, accept money from people, and being able to then own your value enough to value your uniqueness, to be able to value what you have to offer, so that you're going to charge appropriately, and then accept the payment from people. I love to share one quick story if I could. It's about my sister when she was a massage therapist, and when one Christmas time she called me on the phone and she said she wanted to ask my advice because she had a client who wanted to give her $1,000 holiday bonus, and she wasn't sure she should accept it. And so that's what she wanted to know. She's like, should I accept this money, Gloria? And I'm like, first of all, inside, I'm going, wow, would love to receive $1,000 bonus from a client. That would be so awesome. And I'm like, well, my first blush was to just say, yes, of course. But I thought, let me ask her some questions about it. Has this client been getting good results from you? And how long have you been working with her? And my sister's like, yeah, she's been a client for several years, and she's definitely feeling so much better now than she was when I first started. She even refers other clients to me. And so I finally told her, I said, well, then you need to accept this gift from her, because this is the way that she is showing you love, and showing how much she values the work that you've done on her. And if you were to not accept that, it would be as if you're rejecting her. And
Yeah,
so
and it would really be like a slap in the face, because
it
here's
would.
somebody opening their heart, opening their wallet. They have it.
Mhm.
They'd like to give it. And yeah, and sometimes our whole issues around money don't serve us.
That's true. Yeah, exactly. And it's about, and not only money, I think, but ultimately she was still having some self-worth issues, and not really valuing the wonderful work that she did as a therapist. And this woman was like saying, pointing it out to her, like, yes, you do really good work. So I'm glad my sister accepted it finally.
Oh, good. Oh, good. So we've got the L and we've got the O, and the V is?
So the V is value your uniqueness. And this was something that when I was writing the book, for me, turned out to be one of the areas that I was still struggling with. And in fact, as I was typing up, I had handwritten out the book at first, doing journaling with it. And I then was typing it up. And when I looked at that section, it was like I had the least amount of information for it. So it was clearly a sign to me that I still had some work to do around this. And part of it was that I didn't necessarily appreciate what I was good at. I took it for granted. And I think that's what happens a lot of times. We find that, especially when something comes easy to us, and then when someone pays us a compliment about it, we sometimes then we discount it because we're like, oh, well, that was just, really so easy for me. But if that person tried to do it, they would find it might take them hours to do. And so that's where I had to start really taking a good look at, what is it that I'm good at? And sometimes, and what I teach my clients is that you might want to just sit down one time and make a list of things and try and go back through even your whole life and just think of all the different things that you've done, things that you've accomplished. Uh, and no matter how trivial it is, but just to be able to remind yourself, because I think also sometimes, especially as we get older, we tend to forget the things that we did, maybe 20, 30, 40 years ago. And so it's good to sit down and go back and remember those things and realize. In fact, I wrote a chapter in a compilation book, and I was rereading it not too long ago. And in it, I talked about some of the different things that I had done. And I was like, oh yeah, that's right. I did do that. I used to write newsletters for my kids' school. I was a Girl Scout leader. It was like all these different things that I had done, and I just took them for granted, but they're things that not a lot of other people do. And it's important to be able to own that. And if you have trouble coming up with it, ask somebody, ask your clients, ask your family, ask your friends, and they will for sure be able to tell you what you are good at and what you excel at. So if you have those blinders on, you'll be able to get somebody else to be able to help you with it.
Yeah, I think that's such great advice, because the things that we are really good at tend to come pretty easily to us. And so we really don't value it as much as we should, because
Yeah.
other people really struggle with the same thing.
Mhm.
And, we all have our struggle issues, and we all have our easy issues. And, those gifts we should be just grateful for, but
Mhm.
share them knowing other people can appreciate them and pay us for them, because we can do things for them that they find it very hard to do. And it's kind of how the universe works, right? You
Mhm.
you should get paid for the things that you have been gifted with, it being easy for you, so
Yeah,
that it's not meant that you have to struggle. You don't have to struggle. You can
exactly.
get paid for the things you do easily.
Right. And also you also need to remember that most likely the things that come easy to you perhaps were not easy for you at the beginning, but because you have done them for either so long a time or maybe so many times, that's why they've become easy for you. Whereas someone else who wants to do something for the first time, it's going to be challenging for them. In fact, I used to do I ran a challenge a few years back where I was helping people to do Facebook Lives, and so I've been doing live video for a while, and so I was fairly comfortable with it. But the people in the challenge they were very nervous about it. And I just said, we've got a closed group here, so nobody's going to see the videos except us. And by the end of the challenge, they felt so much more comfortable on it. And now I see one of the women who is in the challenge now, and she does Facebook Lives all the time. It's so easy for her now. But 4 years ago, it wasn't. And that's the thing we have to remember, that, yeah. And that is also, and the other reason we need to value it is because we also forget sometimes not only the time it took, but from a monetary standpoint, we most likely invested in courses or coaching, some type of learning to be able to do it. And we invested our time in that to be able to get those credentials or whatever it is. And that also has an intrinsic value that then needs to be reflected in the fees that we're charging for our services, so that someone can respect that and say that, yeah, because when you go to a doctor, they've invested in medical school, we don't have a problem paying them. So why is it that service providers, people like copywriters or graphic designers, massage therapists, those type of people sometimes, and I'm including myself in that, we've undercharge a lot, especially at the beginning, because we forget that we should be valuing ourselves more appropriately.
Yeah, and it's like you say, it's so easy to forget that we had to learn. And I mean, you talk about going live, and now I jump onto this show, and I go in to restream, push a few buttons, everything's hooked up, make sure everything's working, and I'm good. It didn't start there.
Right.
And I mean, if somebody else was going to do it, as I said to you at the beginning, gosh, come and talk to me,
Yeah.
because it only took me 7 hours to set up my first restream show. Sort of to some extent, thanks to the restream people who didn't know how to do it. I got really strange advice, but in any event, we learn. And but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't value what we've learned, because it's not easy, and it's not easy to actually even go live.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't even think about it now. I'm having a conversation with a friend,
Right. Yeah,
but it didn't start there.
exactly. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, the very first time I did a video period for social media, I was back in the days when we had a flip camera, yeah, or no, go. Yeah, I forget, whatever it was. It's a camera that doesn't exist anymore. But I recorded it I probably did 10 takes before I felt comfortable enough to upload it to YouTube and, to let people see it. Whereas now I go live, and if I mess up in the middle of it, it's like I mess up in the middle of it, and it's okay. I'm not as, I'm human. and, unless, it's a technical difficulty, that would be about the only time I would ever stop something. So.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, it is great to have a learning curve and to know that we can help people through that learning curve, and that we can make it easy. I mean, like I said, with my Restream experience, gosh, come and talk to me. I can get you set up in 30 minutes. It won't take long. It isn't difficult. Don't ask them unless you really, really have a long time and you really want to be screwed around for a while. Oh my gosh, I got such bad advice. So, and it is finding those people that know and can help you, like come to Mary if you want to know how to use Restream for live shows. But, I should put a little sign up. I can help you do Restream. Anyway, those are great things. So what's the E?
So the E is embrace your divinity. And when I first thought of that, I was like, wasn't quite sure what that was, because I grew up Catholic, and to me, divinity just means like a priest or something. And so I wasn't quite sure what that was, but in going through the process and really starting to, number one, writing the book, and then looking within and asking for guidance on what this really means. It's ultimately about embracing yourself. And I believe, so again, this is my belief, that we are all a part of God, and that we are children of God. We're one with God. And so embracing your divinity is really embracing that higher self that is within you. And in practical terms, then it's about showing yourself self-love. And it's about really taking care of yourself. And because if you don't take care of yourself, you can't necessarily rely on someone else to do it for you. And it's ultimately starts with you being able to do that, because then when you can start to really value yourself and love yourself and take care of yourself, then you're going to be able to show that same type of love then to someone else. You're going to be able to take care of other people. It's, what they say on the airplanes, you put the oxygen mask on yourself first before you try to help other people, because if you don't, then you're going to be no good to them. And it really is true. And to as an example of this, one way I did this was, one of the practices that I've found that have helped me through the years and has helped me to really be in touch with my higher self is meditation. And I've been doing that for a very long time. And I mentioned my sister earlier. She actually, I lost her to cancer back in 2016. And while she was when she was going through chemo and all of that, I would go out and visit with her and help her through that. And I made sure that every morning I got up early enough to do my meditation first, so that then I could really be present for her and to be able to help her through all the things that she needed help with. And I know that helped me to be able to be steady, to be supportive, not lose my temper. Because if anybody out there has dealt with someone who is, going through any type of illness or something, as they're in pain, their moods aren't always the greatest. And, God rest her soul. I love my sister, but she could be, it wore on her, and she could be mean sometimes and snap. And so, if I wasn't doing that meditation, it could have been very easy for me to just, yell back at her, and that wouldn't serve her at all. And so being able to do a practice like that helped me to be able to just take a breath, calm down first, count to 10 or something, and then
Let it go.
respond to her and then help her. And because she couldn't really control it, because, this was, the medication that she was on for one thing, the tumor, which was causing her pain for another. And so it helped me to have much more compassion for her and to be able to take care of her.
Yeah, you feel so badly for people that really are going through health challenges. I mean, that's really hard, because all of a sudden we think that we're in control and suddenly we're not, and our bodies start messing up with us, and that's really distressing. It's like, no, this is not okay.
I know. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And in fact, I remember one time she had said early on, she was like, geez, God, did you have to give me cancer to teach me how to ask people for help? And, and because it's true, she prided herself on being a very independent woman, and she had to open her heart to receive help from other people, from some of her friends, from her coworkers who, would have to like drive her to doctor's appointments or make meals for her. And so learn to ask for help now. Don't wait until you get, sick, because you're also doing people a favor, because people like to be needed. I don't know about you, but I think most people like to be needed, and they like to be asked to do something. You don't want to overdo it, because then we don't want to become,
A pest.
somebody who's always at their beck and call. But, but once in a while, it is nice to feel appreciated and to be needed in that way.
Yeah, and I think that's really the balance. And I love your acronym LOVE, because it already sets a really nice tone. Come from love, give in love, stay in love. And if we can remember that, I think that life would probably be a lot easier for a lot of us, because really we all need that love, and we're capable of giving it, we're capable of receiving it, even though we forget. And it's one of the gifts that we can give at any time to anyone in an instant that can make a huge difference. They're having a bad day, they're having things have gone off the rails, and we've all had off the rail days. It's nice to know that somewhere along the line there's someone that still loves us.
Yeah, absolutely. And it can be something as simple as smiling at someone on the street, or just opening the door for someone. It doesn't have to be something major to do, but just to treat people with kindness, with love. And if we started making that a regular practice and just treating everyone that we come into contact with every day, imagine how much nicer the world would be to be in, if we all could just remember that. And it is so, I'm sure I would say probably 95% of the people in the world were taught some version of that when they were children, but it's just somewhere along the way we get caught up and forget it. So we need to just remember it again. And it's whatever you believe in, whatever religion you ascribe to. I think it's still sort of the general theory is, what is it? The golden rule: do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. So if you want to be loved and receive love, you need to give some love, and then love makes the world go round.
Well, love does make the world go round, and certainly hate doesn't. That's for sure. So it's just nice to remember that we can all give a great gift with a smile. I made a practice often when I was running through downtown cities and around, and I'd always look at someone and smile. And it was amazing how kind of shocked people often were that
That's
first
true.
I'd notice them, and secondly that I smile. And I
Yeah.
thought, it's really sad that we don't do that more for one another,
Mhm.
because just to be seen and then smiled at says you're okay, you're okay.
Mhm. Yeah.
And you don't know what the other person is going through. They could be in a really dark space. So just that smile could make a big difference to people.
Yeah.
And you know come from love. Why not?
Yeah, absolutely. And it doesn't cost anything. Smiles are free to give away.
And you never run out of them.
That's right. And they're good for you. What is it? It takes more. Doesn't it say it takes more muscles to frown or something than to smile or something like that? So I don't know. Whatever it is, but it makes you feel good. It makes you feel good to
Yeah,
smile. So
absolutely.
so
I
that
mean,
to say there's a reason to do it right there. And then you're making someone else feel good too.
well, and you have choice in the world, right?
Yeah.
You can smile or not smile. But I would suggest you choose smile, because the world will get brighter, the world will get lighter, the load will
Yeah.
get lighter, and it's worth it.
Yeah.
And you can help other people just with that smile.
Mhm.
Anyway, I can't believe that our time goes by so quickly. Oh my gosh.
I know.
Boom.
Good
so
conversations with good people. That's why.
how can people get hold of you, Gloria?
Well, the best way I would say is they can go to my website, which is gloriarand.com, GLORIARAND.com. And you can also find me on social media. I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube at Gloria Grace Rand. I think I'm also on Twitter, although I'm not as active on Twitter, but um, Facebook and LinkedIn are usually my two favorite places.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
You'll find me more there.
Mm.
And I've now got this YouTube channel, so um, you can find me there. But yeah, anyway, find Gloria, reach out, and find out what love can do for you, because it could make a huge difference in your life. And
Absolutely.
we'd invite all of you to at least have a conversation with Gloria and see what love can do for you. Anyway,
Thank you
thank
so
you so
much.
much. And is there a parting word you'd really like to give anybody?
Let's see. Parting word. I would say, hmm, we've kind of covered it. I love the smiling and love. You know what? Look at yourself in the mirror and say, I love you. And if you need help, um, feeling that. So that's a good practice to do it. It's mirror work that Louise Hay talked about, and I highly recommend it. So, spend a moment doing that every
That
day.
is a good practice, and I haven't done that for a really long time. But yeah, I mean, um, one of the things you get really a lot of opportunity to do is not quite mirror, but on Zoom, you get to look at yourself a lot.
That's true.
I deal with that as my mirror.
There you go. I like it.
Anyway, thank you so much, and we'll talk soon.
All right. Thank you.